ESPN and the American Le Mans Series welcome you to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca and the American Le Mans Series at Monterey. Qualifying up next from one of the most picturesque and most popular racetracks that the American Le Mans Series will run on all year long. Qualifying will set the field for tomorrow's American Le Mans Series at Monterey. Welcome everyone, Brian Sill with you along with John Hindhaugh and of course Johnny O'Connell. And John, you first. I mean, it's the third race of the season, third different type of racetrack these drivers have faced, and the third different length of race. What does that mean for tomorrow? What does it mean for qualifying today?
Well, it means it's the variety that we love that is the essence of sports car racing. It makes sports car racing and endurance racing exactly what we love. And 5 different categories of cars out on the circuit. What qualifying means is it's another bit of variety. It's another skill that you've got to have. It almost doesn't matter whether it's 12, 2 or 4 hours that you're going into racing. There's no time for tactics here. You've got to bring your A game and you've got to bring it the moment that the green flag flies. There's no time to have a cup of coffee and ease yourself into your work. You've got to be right on it. It is on from the time that green flag flies.
Absolutely, and it's about to be on because the green flag is going to fly pretty quickly. But Johnny, as a driver, they say it's difficult to pass at this racetrack. You want to start up front in your class. What are these drivers thinking right now as they get ready to go qualify?
Personally, I'm angry, and I'm angry because I'm talking about qualifying and not qualifying. Every driver deep in their heart, they're a gunfighter. They want to see what they can do versus their competition. And qualifying is your one opportunity to do that. You get sticker tires, low fuel, generally 3 or 4 laps to prove to everybody out there, including your team, how fast you can go. These guys right now, they're nervous, but they're focused. They're knowing that how they perform in the next 10 minutes is going to determine a lot about what happens tomorrow.
Difficult to keep Johnny standing here and not getting in a car. Remember, 5 different classes of cars in the American Le Mans Series. GT Challenge is one of those classes. And for one of the stories about how quick one of those cars is, a little bit of a surprise this weekend, here's Jamie Howe.
Well, it's Dempsey Del Piero Racing who has had flashes of brilliance early in the season, so much so that it's easy to forget that the team was just developed only a couple of weeks before the 12 hours of Sebring. They had Andy Lally as their qualifying driver. He put the car on pole. The team attributes that pole purely to Andy. Well, Andy's back this weekend. You guys missed him in Long Beach, Patrick. How big of an impact does he have on this team?
Well, he just elevates the entire team. He's so professional, so quick, and so knowledgeable in these cars that his ability to set up the car to make it much easier to drive, and certainly here there's not a lot of grip, so as much grip as you can get to get through the corners, get the power down on exit, the better off you're going to be. And they've done a phenomenal job this weekend to get stuff done so far. So yeah, he just elevates the game. He's such a great guy to be around.
I mentioned that this is a very new program for you guys. It's your first year in GTC competition. How far has the team come since the first race this season?
Organizationally, we're a little bit better than we were. We're still scrambling a bit, but I think each race we get there, we're a little bit better than we were before. And fortunately, we've been finishing races, which is really important for us, and me getting enough seat time to get faster. And then with the coaching from everybody, Joe's not going to race this weekend, which is unfortunate, but he took one for the team. I think because of the 4-hour race, it just didn't make sense on strategy. So he's been out coaching me, so that's been helpful, and just trying to get as much seat time and prepare for Le Mans. So, we'll see. I think we have a good shot. I know Andy can do it, and the car can do it, and Lars is a great engineer, so we'll see if I can handle my side of it.
Well, qualifying is always exciting to watch. Another 2-car team that's also new to GTC is Flying Lizard, and Justin Bell is there.
Yes, I'm standing right by the 45 Flying Lizard car, which has been fast all week. And just strapping and getting himself all settled for qualifying is Spencer Pampelli. And now, Spencer, we're just going to try and get in here with you. Laguna Seca, as the temperature is dropping a little right now, what are the challenges of actually trying to qualify a Porsche around here?
Well, first off, let me say hello to my wife, Lindsay, who's going to be celebrating her first Mother's Day as a mom on Sunday. So that's exciting. But around here, the tough part, especially when it's cool, is this is a very low grip circuit. So it's really easy to overdrive the car with low grip. And so we're going to have to be patient, but still have that qualifying mentality where you try to attack as much as you can. It's a fine edge here. It's going to be tough.
So for the fans out there watching around the track and watching this online, what for you is the corner you can make the most time up on?
I think corkscrew for sure. There's a varying amount of kind of curb and dirt on the inside you can commit to and make up a little time there. And then I think brake zones here, it's so slippery everywhere else, you really have to be good in the brakes. Turn 1.
Well, enjoy it, get focused. I know the last thing you want to do is talk to an ex-racing driver when you're about to go qualify a Porsche. But as you can see, guys, Spencer's got his game face on, but with a degree of excitement too, because qualifying around Laguna Seca, as Johnny knows, is something very special.
I was thinking he might come down there and get in the car. Here's the way qualifying format works out. Remember, 5 different classes, each session 15 minutes long, and cars from each class qualify on the track at the same time. You're guaranteed 10 minutes of green flag running, and that is critical because if you don't get that in, somebody gets stuck in one of these infamous gravel traps here. Things could get set by point. Here they'll look at the classes GT, mass-produced sport cars, cars like you want to drive, John.
Oh, if only. The GTC, it's a spec series. All the Porsches are 2010 to 2012 911 GT3 Cup cars, and they run on Yokohama tyres. Their big brothers, if you like, is the Open GT category. Doesn't have to be a Porsche. Could be a Viper that we show on the screen. Could be an Aston Martin or a Ferrari. Other cars are available.
Other cars that you want to drive. And then we go to the prototypes. Prototype Challenge, all the cars, identical chassis, identical tires, and as we always say, it's up to the teams and the drivers to get the most out of that Prototype Challenge category. Then the big boys, P1 and P2. Johnny, they don't come any more sophisticated than that.
You know, and to me, one of the most beautiful things about the American Le Mans Series is technology and technology transfer. That, you know, the things that they're doing here in the prototype categories, the GT categories as well, are things that you do see going towards a production line. It is one of the great aspects about the American Le Mans Series and why the manufacturers are so attracted to it.
Well, this is where we are, out on the West Coast, just south of San Francisco. Look at the Google map, and wow, that zoomed in. You know what this picture doesn't show, though, is the elevation change. You just can't experience it and understand it unless you're here.
Yeah, it's absolutely true, and the guys do a fantastic job of positioning the cameras much better than we've had in past years to show just there, that little rise up to the final corner, but that's a minor elevation change. Everybody forgets about how much it climbs up to after the start-finish line, Johnny.
You know what? There's just a ton of elevation change here. I actually, over that hill there, right there in turn 1, almost wrecked a car once because of the elevation change. My tires had gone, and that was a
so the cars go light there?
They go very light. This was back, you know, back in the day when you were running with 700 horsepower. And then, you know, again, this whole infield area, it's flat, but it's unique. It offers a lot of overtaking opportunities that are always dicey. So coming into this corner right here, turn 4, you know, a car can move inside you there, but then you get off into the marbles and you have a very difficult time finishing that corner. I mean, the amount of excitement that the fans have the opportunity to watch here is it's just mind-boggling. This place always leads to a great race.
GT Challenge on the racetrack right now. Remember, all identical Porsche GT3 Cup cars. They're trying to get heat in those Yokohama tires. It is cold outside. We were standing outside for our open, very chilly, and the wind is blowing. So it's going to take a while to get tires and pressures.
That's
temperatures
relative.
And pressures, I should say.
Cold is relative when you've just come over from Europe, let me tell you, Brian. But yes, I know what you're saying. It's by no means as warm as you'd expect being. You're looking at that picture now. It's a beautiful sunny day, as it tends to be about 300 days a year here in this part of the world. But it is a bit blowy, and temperatures not perhaps as high as people were expecting. And these guys are working really hard at this point. The other point I'd like to make about being here is, as a spectator, not being in the privileged position that we are, but you can get pretty close to the cars and see some spectacular racing and not have to look through any of the catch fencing that's so prevalent, sadly, in Europe now. This is a really good place to come and have a look. As Andy Lally continues his form in the 27, the Tully's Coffee sponsored car, and leads the field at the moment on a 128.3.
One of his very good friends is Spencer Pumpelly. Easy for me to say. Pumpelly trying, he said the corkscrew is a place where you can make time, and you see him sideways through there. Johnny, that is blind. I don't think, you know, once again, it's hard to get an understanding of what it looks like.
I could see that happening, man. If they were watching me on that darn camera, they'd see me like start to winch. You know, there's a saying in driving, early in means early out. You turn into your corner, you get to an early apex, you run out of the corner really early, and that happened to Spencer Pumpelly. You know, in the GTC category, Brian, to me, one of the coolest things is that it's a category where every single time we see qualifying, the pole hasn't been determined until the last lap. Usually, usually that type of thing, we see like in the other GT category, you get 3-4 laps in, and that's when a guy does a flyer. This category comes down to that last lap.
And when drivers talk about low grip at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the reason for it, you see it off to the side. all of that dust or all of that sand gets blown onto the racetrack, and it takes that grip away, especially in turns 3 right there and 4 the next one. You're looking at one of the cars from the Racers Group, the number 66. Damian Faulkner behind the wheel. Racers Group has won the last 2 GT Challenge races here at Mazda Raceway. They're looking to make it 3 in a row.
And Faulkner's due a result because he hasn't had any luck at all in the 2013 American Le Mans Series, as Jerome Bleekemolen has gone to the top in the 22 car by just 0.2 of a second. That actually is quite a big gap in GTC, and you'll see just to the right-hand side of the back fascia panel there, the little green light as the cars are going away, that designates the fact that the cars are in the challenge category. You'll see them on the back of the LMPC cars as well, and we will be running not into darkness here, but certainly into what our colleague Charles Dressing likes to call the gloaming. So it will be getting a little bit dusk, and that gives the other drivers a chance to see that they're coming up on a challenge category car. The 3 LEDs there on the back.
See the 68 with the red banner move off to the side to let the 66 go by. Bleekemolen on top. 3 laps in the books, but I've got some money in my pocket that says I'll bet it doesn't end up the way it is on the board right now. You said it, Johnny. These Yokohama tires just seem to get better and better as they go, and as cool as it is, I would think 3, 4, maybe even 5 laps until they have temperature and pressure.
They're going to run to the end, and you know what? That is going to be the interesting thing. I mean, we saw Bleekemolen, get the pole there in the last lap, I want to say, at Long Beach. I mean, these guys, it is so much fun, and if you've never been in an opportunity, trust me, this is way different than PlayStation or any of that kind of stuff. When you are out there and your guys are telling you how fast you're going, what position you are. Bleekemolen still at the top of the heap right now at a 27.2, but everybody else knocking on that door.
Looking at the Flying Lizard there coming up the hill, if you look on the back 3/4 panel just above the fenders there, you'll see there's a number 5. It's not an S, it's a number 5 there, and those green panels. This is something that the American Le Mans Series is trying out. Remember, the leader lights that we used to have down the side would tell you whether a car was in 1st, 2nd or 3rd. Well, this can go deeper into the field, and that illuminated number there tells me right now, I don't even have to look at our timing and scoring serial.
Try to do another lap.
That it's sitting in 5th position when he started that lap. Now that should update when he comes through, because he's gone into 4th since that updated last time around. So you'll see that, and everyone else can as well.
It'll be interesting to see if that gets utilized as they test it a little bit more throughout the field. So, and it's starting to close down, Johnny. As you said earlier, it was a second almost in hand for Bleekemolen before. Now Nick Tandy up to second. There's Tandy in that 30 from NGT Motorsports, taking the place of Sean Edwards this weekend. And this is currently the quick car in GT Challenge, Jerome Bleekemolen.
And he's just, I mean, he's been a star, and he's one of the big names in GTC in this WeatherTech Yokohama short Porsche. We said it before, we'll say it again. This GTC, the challenge category, allows for new talent to come through and be paired with people who have fantastic skills. And Jerome, very, very good in a Porsche. He's done Super Cup that supports Formula One. He's done all kinds of sports car racing, and now he's lending his experience to the 22 squad, the WeatherTech sponsor car. And Johnny, we're seeing new talent come up through here in the cars and on the pit walls and in the teams as well.
Well, Damian Faulkner is a great example as we right now watch the 66 guy here, Damian Faulkner, who we have just seen so many exciting things. You know what? We look at this category, look at another category, we're going to see a guy named Kyle Marcelli, another rock star, future rock star. Now, you know, when we talk about Laguna Seca, let's talk about this racetrack just a little bit. Let me point out something interesting. One of the difficult things for a race car driver to do is set their brake bias. That is the balance between front and rear brakes. Now, when he's coming through turn 10 here right now, he's coming up to a hard braking zone. Turn 11, it's relatively flat. You set your bias for this corner right here. When you get up to the corkscrew and you come over that rise, it doesn't work because your front tires come over the crest of the hill. You will see guys going into the corkscrew lock up their front tires all the time. They can't turn, they go off on the racetrack. So, you know, I mean, there are just so many intricacies to this racetrack. And one thing, you know what, TV generally doesn't give a great feel for elevation change, but the corkscrew, man, I tell you what, that's like 3-4 stories just dropping off real quickly.
So just very quickly then, does that mean you're changing the brake bias all the way around on a qualifying?
It means that you are sacrificing. You got to make your decision. Do I want to go to the rear so maybe I can get a bit deeper into the corkscrew, but then I'm likely to lock my rears on the infield and the other places where I'm bringing it in deep.
So just moments ago, it was Faulkner who took a shot at Jerome Bleekemolen, didn't get the job done, and right now the clock running on Spencer Pumpelly as he runs up the hill and into the corkscrew.
And when that clicks down under 5 minutes on the top of the screen, that means that the session will be valid, because we will have had 10 minutes of green flag running, which we now have done. And if you look at the number square on the back, that's gone down to 4, because that is where the 45 sits. I like this idea.
Yeah, and
He's off the pace right now. It looks like
he's setting up.
Yep.
He's setting up. He's trying to make sure he's got like clear track in front of him. My guess is Spencer's going to come through this final corner, wick it up, go, focus, hit his marks. Look at, again, on his dash, he's got a time compare, so he'll be able to know how good he is doing on that lap, how much of a risk he can chance.
There's a look at the 27, Andy Lally behind the wheel right now, sharing that car with Patrick Dempsey. Jamie Howe spoke with Patrick a little bit earlier, and this Dempsey Del Piero Racing team really trying to get a handle on this Porsche. Brand new car to them. Remember, they ran a prototype here last year. They ran a GT car in the Rolex Sports Car Series, so a lot of changes for this team. And Andy Lally, a Porsche specialist, is really helping out.
And the last time, of course, that he qualified for this team, he planted it on pole position at the Sebring 12 hours.
Dramatic fashion.
Yeah, and the last lap, pretty much.
Awesome, awesome driver. So strong, especially in these cars. I want to say he's won the 24 hours at Daytona like 80 times. So, he knows how to get around there. I'm pretty sure he knows how to get around here.
Pumpelly on the clock, winding up for this lap, as Johnny said, trying to get everything sorted, get it straight in his mind, and then attack through 11 corners. Coming up to the corkscrew right now.
Sets up in the middle of the road to that little, that's a wicked right-hand kink there, Johnny, just before you have to commit to this awesome drop down through the corkscrew. He's looking
good, but he's out of it.
He's out of the throttle there.
Well, you know what? He might have seen on his time compare that he didn't have it going, and maybe he's winding up for one more. A lot of times what happens, if you cool off too much to wind up, you can get some pickup. You lose a little bit of that temperature that you need. So this might be the wind up for the wind up.
It's the WeatherTech of Porsche of Blakemollen that leads from Tandy in the more sponsored 30 car, then Andy Lally in the 27 Tully's coffee car, then this car, Spencer Pumpelly. He'll get another crack at it. There's 2 minutes and almost 50 seconds to go, so he'll get this one and the next one if he needs it, down into the hairpin, which is in fact turns 1 and 2.
Nice. He carried some momentum. A tricky corner there. He kind of diamond cornered off, up.
And the thing that's important, it's one of those deals where he's got to find 0.3 of a second that Lally needs to find. Now, right now, it's Blakemollen, Tandy, Lally, then Pumpelly. Pumpelly trying to get this Porsche up to speed. ESPN 3 trying to get up to speed as well. Some technical difficulties right now, and some of you may be looking for the broadcast and having a hard time finding it. So as Pumpelly tries to get up to speed in that 45, ESPN 3 working on some issues as well. Oh, so close.
It was good till then.
Yeah, drop 2 out of the 2.
He's got time for one more.
All right, let's go ahead and pit it. We'll take 4th.
He'll take 4th.
All right, buddy, good job.
Yep. And the driver knows.
That's Thomas Blam.
Yeah.
That's Thomas Blam, the very, very clever strategist at Flying Lizard Racing. He's been there since that team was formed not that long ago. Let's not forget they've been a champion in the
but there's Andy Lally. Andy Lally can still get this job done.
What's he got coming up to the corkscrew? And it's important to note, once again, you talk about sight lines.
We have to start on 3 of those tires.
You cannot see the exit of the corkscrew until there.
Just going to come to you. We're just too loose.
Too loose. You know what? And you know what was really interesting? You could tell by his line into the corkscrew that he was loose, because he shot from one apex to the other. So he normally you come over that rise there and hold it right.
I love what the guys in the pit said, just reminding him gently, we have to start on 3 of those tyres. So basically they say, don't goose 2 of them. Here's Nick Tandy, 2/10 off the pace as far as provincial pole is concerned.
What does Tandy have? This will be the last lap. Clock's going to run out, and Tandy, a Porsche specialist, to say the least.
Unusual to have a factory driver in this category of racing.
And I know there's some other teams and drivers up and down the paddock that aren't particularly pleased to see him here. But Tandy trying to get the job done for his NGT team. Enrique Cisneros, his co-driver, up through turn 6. Big compression there, and then up the hill.
You know what? And that's one of the hardest corners in racing, because you turn in, right as you turn the wind, you get into a big dip, and car road comes back to you. Down the box. Let's listen.
patience. Patience, but got on the power nice and early.
Part here.
There's a slower car in front of him. Seems to be a little off the pace.
He learns quick, this lap, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think he's attacking. I don't think he's going for it.
And I don't think the traffic is going to matter either.
No.
68 is the car in front. The checkered flag is out, and Tandy says no. Perhaps he looked at the dash, saw that predictive, and realized I don't have it. It's interesting, the track, so cool, you would think it might go to a little bit of understeer as you look at the pole sitter, Jerome Bleekemolen. But in fact, you heard Andy Lally say it's loose. They couldn't put the power down. That's strange for a Porsche around here.
On board the WeatherTech Porsche of Jerome Bleekemolen, who takes it by just a 1/10 of a second. So Tandy did, in fact, improve towards the end of that. He halved the deficit, but it wasn't good enough. Andy Lally for Alex Job Racing will be in 3rd position. It's the GT cars that are up next, and Jamie Howe is up at BMW.
Well, as the sessions have gone on, we've seen the 55 and the 56 BMW both towards the front of the pack. In that last session, it was the number 56 who was leading the BMW contingent. Jonathan Edwards, these cars have really come along in the last couple of races. How much development is left in the Z4?
Well, we're always still working, but I think a lot of people expected us to be slow from the start. And I think those people forgot what a great history BMW has in Team Rahal. They're not starting brand new with a new team. You know, we had to bring the new car in, but we had old data from the GT3 cars. So there was some development that had to go into it. But we came out running even at Sebring, and they proved the car even more at Long Beach. And hopefully Laguna is going to suit our car just as well.
It's Dirk Mueller who will qualify the number 56 car. You're the part-timer in the program. What's it like to come back, be with a team like RLL, and be expected to be on the top of your game?
Well, the tough part comes from being out of the car for 2 months straight. You know, I was driving in Grand Am during that time, but this car is completely different. So that was a big challenge yesterday, getting used to the brakes again, getting used to the downforce. But this morning I felt right at home again, and I think that's the biggest challenge. But my role is really to support Dirk and BMW and try to help both of them go for the championship, because missing some races, I'm out of the Drivers' Championship. So my role is really to help in any way I can support the team to go after the championships.
Qualifying is going to be exciting to watch. It'll be underway in just a couple minutes.
Let's take a look at the GTC results quickly before we get to GT. Jerome Bleekemolen on pole. We talked about that. He won his very first ever American Le Mans Series event here at Mazda Raceway, so he'd like to win another one. Tandy, great job. And you heard Spencer Pumpelly, we just don't have it today. We'll have to settle for 4th. And I know that that's got to be difficult, but for Jerome Bleekemolen, celebration. But you can celebrate for a little while today because you have the pole. But you got a 4-hour contest tomorrow, and that's what really matters for the points.
But just 0.2 of a second between the top 3, Brian. That's the important thing. Let's head back down to the pit lane. Justin Bell is waiting for us.
Yes, I am, with a very excited WeatherTech racing team here. Jerome, what a fantastic lap. You obviously put in more than just one good lap. But to qualify well here at Laguna Seca, you really have to have everything come together. And the car's been quick all week, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been first in all sessions, in all practices, so I would be quite disappointed if we couldn't make it this time out. But it was very close. The competition is amazing this year. And like you say, you have to do everything right on a lap here to get the maximum out of it. So it's easy to screw it up. And yeah, you have moments where you nearly go off. So in the end, it worked out. So we're really, really happy.
And obviously having a car that's good in qualifying does translate to a good race car. You don't change too much going into the race for tomorrow, but your expectations must be very strong. Obviously Cooper's driving very well. It's a great partnership. How do you keep a car? What's your strategy as you head towards tomorrow?
Well, I mean, it's a long race. It's longer than normal. Like 4 hours is probably going to be a flat-out sprint race for 4 hours. And Cooper is doing a good job, so he'll have a fight with some other guys. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll see where we end up. But I think it'll be close between 3 or 4 cars, and they're all pretty equal in terms of lap times. So hopefully we can stay where we are, but it's going to be a long, hard fight.
And of course, for now, this evening, just enjoy your pole sitter here at Laguna Seca. Well done.
He talked about the competition. That's what a driver wants. He wants it to be tight. From GT Challenge, a one-make class to GT. It's wide open. Pick your poison, so to speak. Mass-produced sports cars. The cars, as I said earlier, that John Hindhaugh wants to drive. A Corvette, BMW,
yes.
Porsches, Ferraris, Viper. What else do you want to drive, John?
Oh, everything.
Everything. There you go. Most of them 5.5 liters. I mentioned the Viper, though. That's the different one. That's the one with the big 8-liter power plant up front. And the Viper's running strong. For more on GT, let's go back down to Jamie.
Well, it's one car that Johnny O'Connell is very familiar with, the Corvettes, and it's the number 4 Corvette of Tommy Milner and Oliver Gavin, who are the defending champions. You're also the defending race winners, so you know what it takes to do well here at Mazda Raceway. What is that?
Yeah, you know, this race being a little bit longer than normal, even though last year the race was 6 hours, this year it's 4 hours, so some of that element of strategy goes away. So speed becomes a little bit more important, even so in our GT class now. Speed is the most important part of it, but obviously strategy, pit stops play a big role. So qualifying will definitely be important here for us. The car's been good. Oliver wasn't super happy with the car in the last practice session, but we made it better here, I think, for qualifying. So we'll see how it goes.
We've seen the temperature drop already today since the last practice session to when qualifying started now. How big of an impact does that have on the car setup?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, compared to last year, the track temp was a lot warmer than it has been this weekend. So that's been a little bit different. We came here with a setup that's pretty similar to last year, and it's not exactly what we had last year. So we're having to work around that issue a little bit. But again, I think these guys have got the right setup for qualifying now. So let's see how it goes.
They were strong in that final practice session, but right at the end of the session, it was Risi Competizione who posted the quickest time, and Justin Bell's there.
Yeah, Risi car has certainly been fast all week, and Olivier Bretta, you're a big part of the development of this car. You're not in the car for qualifying. What's it like seeing your teammate go out there to put the car up, hopefully on the pole?
Well, you know, Matteo is a great driver. Everyone, I did Long Beach, he did this one. But the important thing is that all the Risi team did a very good job. The car is fast. In Sebring, we were leading the race. In Long Beach, we were P1 until I get the penalty. So let's see what come up this race, but I'm pretty confident.
I'll translate. He really believes that Matteo will do well. So as this track, though, you've been here, you've qualified so many times in so many different types of car. Laguna Seca is a very difficult track to get the most out of the car, isn't it?
Yes, because the main problem here is the sand and the wind. And also, if one car go offline and put the sand, the track is slower. So it's just a question to be on the right place on the right moment. But this is for everybody. But like I said, our car looks good. The team did a very good job, and I'm pretty confident.
That's good. Well, we're now going to join the action and see how everyone gets on. Thank you, Olivier.
Tires beginning to come up to temperature, and you know, John, my favorite part of GT qualifying is watching the Corvettes roll out and then turning and looking at Johnny O'Connell.
Yeah.
And he gets all cross-armed, and he takes a deep breath, and he just...
If you're watching on the Snoop Cam at the moment, wait till you see.
Snoop Cam?
Yes, on the Snoop Cam, right there, Johnny.
Am I the only one that was wondering why Olivier Beretta ever cut his hair? I think we figured that one out. Anyway, and you know what? What an amazing car this Ferrari is, and one of the cool things, you know, you heard Tommy Milner talk about speed. You know what? We saw BMW win Long Beach on strategy. You know, a car that wasn't the fastest. So I mean, anything can happen here. This is all team things. One of the coolest things to me though about the GT category, this is all hired guns. All right, all these are the top professionals, guys with Formula One experience. These are guys at the top of their game, highlights of their career, and we see a lot of good stuff.
And there's Dirk Muller throwing overhand first of all with a 125.1, 126.3 for Townsend Bell, which has been the story of the weekend up until the last session. This beautiful red and white Alex Job Racing Ferrari, the battery tender sponsored car. Red and white with the gold wheels. It's almost a sort of a vintage livery. I love the look of it. New tyres for these guys this weekend, Brian. They've had 3 new compounds of tyres on the front end with the Yokohama tyres, and all of a sudden this car has come to life.
Well, and I don't know that we've done a good enough job giving them credit for the first 2 races. The Yokohama tires that were on that Ferrari were specifically designed for the Lotus that they ran last year. So they did a lot with a tire that wasn't specifically designed for this car. They've got a better tire. They said the rear would work. They've got a taller tire, 3 different constructions, as you pointed out, John, to try here. And the car is just, it has changed. A lot of smiles on the faces of the AGR teammates And Townsend Bell has been magic in that Ferrari all weekend long.
Well, you know what? And Yokohama has so much experience. So, I'm going to date myself here, but my very first GT category win was with
1962
Nissan. Shut up, Brian Hill. In 1993 when I drove the Nissan, and that was on Yokohama's, and their engineer is the same guy, Cheech Yamaguchi.
Got it. Look at that.
As right now, Townsend Bell goes to the front at a 23.6. Again, these guys, they're going to get more laps in them. Everybody's going to start going faster. But again, point being, the guys at Yokohama know what they're doing, and they have won here before.
Just up in the third position for Matteo Monicelli in the 62 Risi Competition. It's Ferrari, BMW, Ferrari, and then Viper as Kurt Wittmer comes up into fourth position. There's 1.7 seconds between the top four, which is an age in GT racing if you haven't watched this before. And I should say as well, two things to note about two of those drivers we've mentioned. Townsend Bell likes the car so much that he's hardly been out of it, and Matteo Monicelli is coming off a win in the FIA World Endurance Championship at Spa-Francorchamps last weekend. Circuit that's not as long as this, but has a lot of the same characteristics in terms of the rise and fall. He's a man in form at the moment.
Well, and look at the 06. You're talking about a man in form at the moment. It's Patrick Long behind the wheel of the 06, a brand new entry into the GT category for Core Autosport. And Long was spectacular in practice, one of the quickest cars out there.
I talked to Patrick Long after that practice session, and he said it's amazing the strength that this team has. Even though they are very new to GT racing, they're doing things their own way, and that's showing right now as they're coming up to speed with this new RSR. He said the program has been meticulously put together, and he was very shocked by that and the way that this young team is operated. They had a testing program, they stuck to it, they've gone through their paces, and now he's seeing the results out on the racetrack. So Patrick Long, who's had experience with teams all over the world, very, very complimentary of Core Autosport.
And the other thing is, of course, that Patrick Long here, who's been out of the car for a little while, just rang the bell, ding dong, Patrick Long calling, and I am still a very quick racing driver, is what he said in the earlier sessions, as is Matteo Monicelli, by the way, as we were talking about for a moment, has just gone to the top by just 0.095 of a second from the 17 Falcon Tyres Porsche of Brian Sellers.
P1 plus 0.1. P1
plus 0.1. Now, interesting note, we talk about the different makes of cars in GT, but you just hit on it. Brian Sellers with Falcon tires on the Porsche from Team Falcon Tires. Think about that. You've got a Michelin, then a Falcon tire, and then a Yokohama. 3 different tire manufacturers in the top 3 right now.
And this is the only international road racing series that has an open tire formula now. Let's just dwell on that for a moment. The American Le Mans series, relevant and pushing technology. The BMW to the line does not improve. So Monicelli
and think about that. How cool is it that that the sanctioning body can get a Porsche, a Ferrari, a Corvette, a BMW, combining that with their tires and get them all. Long Beach, everybody's fast lap was a 19.5 with a closeness that all these manufacturers are producing. I mean, you just got to give kudos to the guys at ALMS for getting it right.
And kudos to this team, Team Falcon Tire. Derek Walker leads the team. Wolf Hensler, Brian Sellers, the 2 drivers. This is the strongest start to a season this team has ever had. They were quick at Sebring. They finished 3rd. Very quick at Long Beach. And then Wolf Hensler had a contact penalty in the race, and they've been very quick here as well. Patrick Long now up to 3rd.
And Brian Sellers taking a slow lap that time, around 4 seconds off the pace. That doesn't mean he's all of a sudden become a bad racing driver in that Falcon Tyres car we watched to the line. It means he's been just biding his time and finding a gap, which is exactly what Patrick Long has done. The other thing about Core Autosport, you can see, is Patrick was working very hard to keep that point in the right direction. They also understand not just racing, but how to put a good-looking racing car together, because that's a great colour scheme.
It's a very, very professionally run team. This chassis actually was run, it was the 45 of the Flying Lizard team last year, went back to Porsche, was rebuilt, then came back to South Carolina to the Core Autosport shop, was rebuilt again, and this team really doing great things with it. But
this is good. That was a good lap.
It was a good lap, but not good enough. Still in 3rd.
No, he goes to 2nd.
Moves up to 2nd.
But Monicelli right behind him, who's followed him, 22.7.
Look at that Long. everything he can get out of the Michelin tires in the braking zone.
Patrick Long was on Parisian pole position for that amount of gap when he went through, because Malicelli, following him through, improved to a 22.7.
You see Malicelli's hands catching that thing. You know what? A lot of times when you qualify, if you can have another fast guy in front of you, that's kind of like that dangling carrot that you're trying to get. I think Malicelli used that a little bit, but Patrick Long looking very strong right now. He's broken away a little bit. Malicelli, I think, overreached a little bit. He's going to get his mind back into it. 5 minutes left. Patrick Long digging.
And 10 seconds time, this session will also be a legitimate one, and the times will count. 3, 2, 1. This is indeed.
Now, Johnny, obviously we talked about how cool the weather is, a 15-minute session. We talked about drivers being loose, drivers with the car not working. You ride on board the number 4 Corvette right now. The session is official, as John Hindhaugh just said, but how much change do you make? How many changes do you make specifically for qualifying to try to get up front, or you just kind of run with the car the way it was when you left the practice center?
All depends. You know, if you've got a car that's a little bit neutral or whatever in the session before, you realize that when you go to sticker tires, okay, less fuel, your handling is going to be different. A lot of times you'll go to your engineer, hey, I want my car a little bit more on the loose side. You might make a bar change, tire pressure change, whatever. Right now, Malicelli at the front at a 22.7, long 22.8. Brian Sellers sitting third.
Gavin trying to move into the top 5. Take a look at the leaderboard there. Does he move? Yes, he does. The 4 is 4th. Gavin.
Saw it in real time now.
Yeah. There's time left. You know, you got the Corsa 3 car going to be digging as well.
Ride on board one of the Vipers, and that is Ollie Gavin back behind. The question is, where are the Vipers? Well, they're running 9th and 10th right now in class. They have struggled with grip here in Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca this weekend. Talked to Jonathan Bomarito earlier, and he said, we just can't get the car to turn. It doesn't matter whether the front end is loaded on the way into the corner or off of the corner. We just do not have grip up front. The 56 is in the pits, and Mueller's out.
8th position, and they will be a little bit disappointed. There's no driver in that car, so that's all she wrote for that BMW. And all right, Corvette had the fastest overall lap at Long Beach, but BMW had the fastest driver averages on all of the drivers when they were in there. That BMW, they expected to have more pace around here. I don't think they'll be overly happy.
This is costing Gavin. This is costing Gavin here. You can see he carries a little bit more speed. Now he's getting blocked.
Sellers is continuing to go faster. He's down into the 22.9, being shown in 3rd. So it's Ferrari, Porsche, and then BMW.
Maxime Martin doing a cracking job for the 55 BMW, not a full-time member of the squad. And I'm not sure how many times he will have seen the rises and falls of Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Gavin's done 6 laps. Okay, Malicelli put in a total of 8 laps. And remember, you know, the tires that you qualify on, you've got to start with. So you are careful about putting too many laps on these things.
Some congratulations for Patrick Long as he gets out in the debut of the 06 for Core Autosport.
Tom Kimber-Smith with his back to us, congratulating his teammate. He'll be sharing the car. The Englishman taking on another challenge.
And I guarantee you feeling a whole lot of pressure, because Patrick Long put in one heck of an effort. And of course, you know, Kimber-Smith, he's got to learn this car. He doesn't know it the way Patrick Long does.
Well, and you talk about drivers putting in good efforts. As you look at Malicelli, Tom Kimber-Smith, not accustomed to Porsches, but doing a great job. Matteo Malicelli is a name that may not be too familiar to American Le Mans Series fans. Why is he qualifying instead of Olivier Beretta? Because he's good.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
He's almost come out of nowhere. It's one of those things that's obviously he's taken about 4 or 5 years to become the overnight sensation that he is now. But he has been plying his trade in Europe for quite some time. He's not been exclusively Ferrari, but he's majored in Ferrari certainly for the last couple of seasons, being part of the development drive as well for that car. And here's another car in development at the moment still, this BMW Z4, Z4, as you guys would say. And Maxime Martin, another European over here in the Crown Plaza BMW team, who is looking to stamp his authority.
Can you hear the TC kicking in there?
Yeah.
TC?
Traction control.
Thank you.
It is a system by where you can't spin your rear tire.
Yeah, but you can block the
ABS though.
I'm sorry, what did Johnny say? What did Johnny say about brake blast? That was what we were talking about right there.
No ABS on that.
Seeing the future, baby.
Seeing the future.
Now here's a problem, okay? You wreck a set of tires in qualifying, that could really mess you up. How you start the race.
You get to replace one.
Correct.
So if you flat spotted both of those front tires, you're going to pick the one that you're going to replace, and then you're going to have to endure for a session, or at least until the first yellow flag, to come in and change it after the start.
Here is what is so sweet about that. He gets back, he debriefs with guys, and he's like, I had the best lap going. Bringing it in.
No, he's got one more.
3.
He's got one more to go now. This could be the last lap for the number 4 of Ollie Gavin, who's heading down the hill now to the final cut.
Will he make it? It's going to be close. He may get another one, but it's a long way to the line once he comes out of turn 11. Very slow corner here.
I love the fact that there's a drag race to the line here, and we've seen races that have been decided.
I think he's going to make it. Just past the bridge is where the line is.
6, 5, 4. He has made it.
Let's get one more.
Yeah, copy that. That's up until about turn 10 there, it was looking like that lap should have been P3.
Up until turn 10. In other words, you need to go faster through turn 10.
Well, you know what? And actually, through 9, we saw him miss the apex by about 1.5 feet. That's how close it is.
And that's the 1/10 of a second. Look at Martin.
He still didn't hit his braking point at the top of the hill there, but he was much more neat and tidy than the lap before. He feels he's in with a chance. If he doesn't peel off into the pit lane here, he must feel he's in with a chance of improving from now 5th position. Martin then in the Grand Plaza BMW turns hard left-handed and lets that BMW V8.
God, that looks
There's the
good
checker
coming off
flag.
that
Does
corner,
it
though.
ever?
Doesn't that look cool?
It does look good. He had to take care of those front tires on that final lap. Nope.
Nope, not there.
He does not
Okay,
improve.
good try, Max. Checkers out. Did this lap. You're P5.
P5, not a bad place to start here. 4 hours, and remember the problems BMW had at Long Beach. Had to pit early with a problem there and came back to win. John Hindhaugh talked about it in the open. Strategy is going to be key.
Yeah, just because it's a different length of race doesn't mean you can throw strategy out of the window, but the first part of the strategy is getting a good track position, because it is a run down to the first corner here. Ollie Gavin did get another lap, but he's off it and coming into the pit lane. So let's have a look then at the GT top 5 qualifiers.
Matteo Malicelli. What a great run for Risi Competizione. Great, so good to see them back in the series. Check a box off, as you just said, John. All right, mission accomplished. Patrick Long, talk about mission accomplished for Core Autosport.
Coming back, absolutely fantastic that Patrick Long comes back and announces it back in. Brian Sellers holding down 3rd position from Gavin and Martin. Let's go down to the pole sitter. Justin Bell is with a happy Matteo Malicelli.
Yes, Matteo, it's your first time to Laguna Seca. It's a famous racetrack, and to have pole position in a Ferrari must make you feel very good.
Yeah, I'm a little sick, but I'm happy because we worked hard. Car is good, and we did a good time, and also Olivier is fast, and we are very, very in good position for the race.
So when you drive a GT car at Laguna Seca, you know very much it's a famous track. But is the experience here everything you had hoped? Because it's a great place to race.
Yes, for me it's always difficult because I don't know any track this year. This is especially because it's very famous. The Course Creek is fantastic, so it's very, very good for me, and I'm very happy to have done the pole.
Well, get some sleep tonight, feel better, and good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Am I the only one that noticed when he said he was sick that Justin moved about 3-4 inches away from him?
He means unwell, not fed up.
That's
yes,
right.
Absolutely.
He doesn't feel particularly well, but he certainly got the job done. So GT cars, they're out of the way. We've gotten GT Challenge. That means prototype categories are coming up next. There's a look at the pole sitter, the number 62 being pushed out of the way. Let's go down to Jamie with Klaus Graf, who will be coming up, getting ready for qualifying in the prototype category. Jamie?
And Klaus Graf will have qualifying duties in the number 6 Muscle Milk racing car from HPD. Klaus, this is a tough competition this year in the P1 category. Rebellion have been quickest in the practice sessions. What does this team have for them?
Well, I mean, we steadily improved the car. You know, when we came here, we were a bit away from them in the test session yesterday. Today we were very close, 1/10 in the first session, and in the sessions there's always a lot of traffic involved, and you don't quite know what everybody's doing. So I think we'll see an exciting qualifying session here. And I mean, the Muscle Milk car is running really good in all the sessions. We steadily improved, and that's what's important. I mean, qualifying is a piece of it, but the race is more important.
And last year during the race, you, Lucas, and your team dominated. You guys crossed the checkered flag 3 laps ahead of the closest competition, which is pretty unheard of in sports car racing. It was with this same car. What do you guys have to do to have a similar result this year?
Start race clean, very clean, which is difficult here with 36 cars. Make no mistakes in the pits, and just keep the pace up all the time. And then you got to keep the pressure on the competition, and then I think we'll have another good chance here.
Prototype qualifying will be underway shortly. Justin?
Well, Patrick Long, you've had so much success here. I mean, it's not your home track, but it's a California track, so I guess you could say that. Did you have to draw on a lot of that experience to get the car on second place on the grid? Because, you know, this is a tough track in a relatively new outfit here.
Yeah, it's a pretty short track, so the times are always tight here. These Core Autosport guys have built my confidence so early on in the program. We've spent about 5 days on the track together since this weekend, but this is our first race debut with the RSR, and I felt like I might have got myself in a little bit of hot water overhyping them in sort of the advanced press releases and things, and we had a tough go at it yesterday, but we dug deep this morning, got things back on track, and second place is pretty unbelievable for this competitive of a championship to come in first run at it, so it's a big testament to the team.
And obviously you can enjoy tonight, and it gives the team the huge boost for tomorrow. What does that sort of degree of confidence mean, not just to you in the car and the team, but for the team as all the mechanics that'll be doing your pit stops and things? How does that translate for tomorrow?
Well, I think it's a great morale booster for tomorrow, and it's a great award for them for all the hard work. Most of these guys have not worked on a Porsche before. This team has never run a Porsche before, and so they've had a lot of work in this short off season. This program came together in January, so we've been flat out. It was hard to sit away from Sebring and not race, and of course Long Beach, and so I think that the patience has paid off, and these guys are going to be around for a long time.
And the car looks really cool.
Yeah, the car looks great. Aaron Justice knows how to design a race car.
Okay, well, Patrick, get some rest tonight and come back and do well tomorrow. Thanks very much, guys.
It's important to look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you heard Klaus Groff say he was talking about Rebellion Racing, and that is their biggest competition. Tomorrow, there's a look at what you'll see. More from the American Le Mans Series presented by Patron from Monterey coming up on the other side of this.